Iran's most important nuclear facility has just been struck again. On Saturday, March 21, 2026, the 24th day of this war, American forces used bunker-buster bombs to strike the Natanz nuclear enrichment complex for the second time since Operation Epic Fury began on February 28th. Iran confirmed the attack through its official news agency and informed the International Atomic Energy Agency. No radiation leak was reported. But here is what makes today's strike on Natanz different from every previous strike, and why it matters so much more than the headline alone suggests. This is the facility that Trump said was completely and totally obliterated back in June 2025, after the first round of strikes in Operation Midnight Hammer. If it was obliterated then, what exactly is being bombed now? If it was not obliterated then, the American people were misled about what that first war accomplished. Either way, on the same day that Iran fired ballistic missiles at a base 4,000 kilometers away, on the same day Israel promised attacks will increase significantly next week, on the same day an Iranian missile fragment hit an empty kindergarten near Tel Aviv, and on the same day a drone struck intelligence headquarters in Baghdad, killing an Iraqi officer, the nuclear facility at the center of the entire justification for this war was struck again. And the war is entering its fourth week with no end in sight. To understand why the Natanz strike carries such particular weight today, you need to understand the full history of this facility and what has been said about it publicly by the very people who ordered it bombed. Natanz sits approximately 220 kilometers southeast of Tehran in Isfahan province. It is Iran's primary uranium enrichment site and has been at the center of every diplomatic and military confrontation over Iran's nuclear program for more than 2 decades. It was the site of the Stuxnet cyber attack, believed to be a joint American and Israeli operation that destroyed roughly 1,000 Iranian centrifuges in 2010. It was targeted again in a sabotage attack in 2021. It was struck during the 12-day Iran-Israel war in June 2025 in Operation Midnight Hammer. And after those June 2025 strikes, President Trump stood before cameras and said Iran's nuclear facilities had been completely and totally obliterated. He said it with complete confidence. He posted about it on Truth Social. His administration used the obliteration of Iran's nuclear program as one of the central justifications for later launching Operation Epic Fury on February 28th, saying Iran was rebuilding toward a nuclear weapon and posed an imminent threat. But the intelligence community's own written assessment, confirmed under oath by Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard before the Senate Intelligence Committee just 3 days ago, on Wednesday, March 18th, said something completely different. It said that as a result of Operation Midnight Hammer in June 2025, Iran's nuclear enrichment program was obliterated, and that there had been no efforts since then to try to rebuild their enrichment capability, and that the entrances to the underground facilities had been buried and shuttered with cement. That is the intelligence community's own assessment. Iran was not rebuilding. The imminent nuclear threat that Trump cited as the justification for this war was not supported by his own intelligence director's written assessment. And yet today, on day 24, American aircraft dropped bunker-buster bombs on Natanz again. The Times of Israel confirmed that the Natanz strikes were carried out by the United States, not Israel. The IDF specifically clarified it did not conduct strikes in the Natanz area and said it cannot comment on American activities amid the war. American forces used what Khan News cited as bunker-buster bombs to target the underground enrichment facility. Iran's Atomic Energy Organization confirmed the Natanz enrichment complex had been targeted and blamed the attack on the United States and what it called the Zionist regime. Iran's official news agency, Mizan, reported there was no leakage of radioactive materials and no danger to residents near the facility. The IAEA said on X that it was informed by Iran about the Natanz strike and that there was no increase in off-site radiation levels and that it was looking into the incident. The radiation question deserves a full and honest accounting because it is not a minor technical footnote. Natanz houses thousands of gas centrifuges used to spin uranium hexafluoride gas to higher levels of enrichment. These centrifuges are housed in deeply buried underground holes, specifically designed to survive conventional airstrikes. The facility also stores significant quantities of enriched uranium in various forms. A catastrophic strike that breached the underground holes and dispersed radioactive material would create a public health emergency across a large section of central Iran and potentially beyond. The fact that the IAEA confirms no radiation leak is critically important, and the American people should understand that every Natanz strike carries that risk as an inherent dimension of the operation. That risk has been managed so far. It has not been eliminated. Saturday's Natanz strike did not happen in isolation. It was part of a day that produced some of the most alarming news of the entire conflict, stacked on top of each other in the space of just a few hours. Overnight and into Saturday morning, Tehran saw heavy airstrikes that residents described as some of the most intense of the war. Israeli forces struck dozens of targets related to Iran's ballistic missile production, including a key Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps complex used to manufacture ballistic missile components, a storage facility for missile components, a complex of the Iranian Defense Ministry tasked with producing missile fuel, and multiple other ballistic missile production facilities. The Iranian intelligence minister Ismail Khatib was killed and his funeral procession moved through Tehran on Saturday morning as airstrikes continued overhead. In Israel, fragments from an Iranian ballistic missile slammed into an empty kindergarten in Rishon LeZion in central Israel. Israeli army spokesman Nadav Shoshani posted video of the damaged kindergarten building. No casualties were reported because the facility was empty at the time, but missile fragments hitting a kindergarten in a major Israeli city is not a near miss that disappears from public consciousness. It is a photograph that will define how Israelis and much of the world remember this day. In Iraq, a drone struck the intelligence service headquarters in Baghdad, killing an Iraqi intelligence officer. American and British forces in Iraq have been under repeated drone attack since the war began on February 28th. The Baghdad strike is the latest escalation of a proxy campaign that has been running parallel to the main Iran theater throughout the conflict. Iraq's government, which is deeply divided between pro-American and pro-Iranian factions, has been trying to maintain neutrality while its territory is being used and targeted by both sides. Israel's defense minister, Israel Katz, announced in a video statement that next week the intensity of the attacks by Israel and the United States against Iran will increase significantly. He spoke shortly after the empty kindergarten was struck. His announcement of a coming surge in attack intensity landed alongside Trump's Friday Truth Social post saying America was considering winding down. Those two statements, one from the American president suggesting the end is near, and one from the Israeli defense minister promising a dramatic escalation next week, are simply incompatible descriptions of the same war. They cannot both be true. And the pattern of these contradictions across 24 days of conflict is no longer a collection of isolated incidents. It is the defining characteristic of a war that nobody fully controls, and nobody can honestly describe with a single consistent narrative. Iranian Foreign Minister Arakchi, speaking to Japan's Kyodo News Service on Friday, added a new formulation to Iran's public position on ending the conflict that every American needs to hear carefully. He said Iran wants not a ceasefire, but a complete, comprehensive, and lasting end to the war. That distinction matters enormously. A ceasefire is a pause in fighting that can be temporary and that can be followed by resumed hostilities. A complete, comprehensive, and lasting end to the war is what Iran is describing as its minimum requirement. Iran is saying it will not agree to pause the fighting on terms that leave open the possibility of renewed strikes later. It wants a final, binding, verified, comprehensive settlement. That is a far higher diplomatic bar than anything the Trump administration appears close to meeting. And it means Iran's position, as stated by its own foreign minister, is that the bombing must stop permanently and completely before Iran will stand down. Here is the full picture that every American deserves to hear as Day 24 of this war unfolds on Saturday, March 21, 2026. Natanz was struck again by American bunker buster bombs, the same facility Trump said was completely and totally obliterated in June 2025. Iran confirmed the strike and said no radiation leaked. The IAEA confirmed it was informed and found no increase in off-site radiation. Israel's defense minister promised attacks will increase significantly next week. Iranian missiles struck a kindergarten in central Israel, empty at the time. A drone killed an Iraqi intelligence officer in Baghdad. Iran fired ballistic missiles at Diego Garcia 4,000 kilometers away the night before, demonstrating a range double what it had publicly acknowledged. Tehran was hit by heavy overnight airstrikes. Trump said he is considering winding down while $200 billion more in military funding is being requested from Congress and more Marines are deploying to the region. And Iran said it wants not a ceasefire, but a complete, comprehensive, and lasting end to the war before it will stop fighting. That is the state of the war on Day 24. The facility that was supposed to be obliterated 9 months ago was bombed again today. The country that was supposed to be totally defeated is firing missiles at Indian Ocean military bases 4,000 kilometers away. And the president, who said it would be over in 4 to 5 weeks, is heading into week 4 with no exit, no coalition, a fractured Congress, a defiant Fed chair, $112 oil, 13 dead Americans, and an ally promising to escalate significantly next week. The American people deserve to know every single one of those facts. That is what today looked like. And tomorrow, according to Israeli Defense Minister, it gets worse.